Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. It's time for another episode of the SoundTraxx Soundbites podcast. This is Train Talk from Milepost 141. I am your host, George Bogatuk, and I have with me my co-host,
Tom Austin.
Tom Austin. So, you guys have listened to us before, and it's always fun to do one of these, and I hope they're entertaining and enjoyable for you guys.
Yep.
So anyway, with that, let's jump into projects.
There's a caboose there.
We got a caboose over on the table.
I meant to bring
here.
something. I've just been covered up with work at the house, so some of the things I have, I will promise you that once we get back from the show we got coming up, I will make. I've got the NW2's about ready, the SW1200 is about ready.
Oh, nice.
And those will be two, but I can do those not one at a time. And then the GP15 from way back in September is about ready too.
Gotcha.
So.
All right. Well, so for those of you watching on video, we have a caboose on the table. For those of you listening to audio, we're going to describe the caboose. It is, as no shock, a Missouri Pacific caboose, as you would expect with the two of us being here.
Right. What else? What other railroads are there?
There are none,
right,
as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
But anyway, no, there's lots of railroads, guys. Please don't think we're...
There used to be.
There used to be. There you go. Yeah, they're going to start going into one mega railroad.
Yeah.
And it's just going to... But anyway, so this is one of the Missouri Pacific steel cabooses, and this was a brass model, and it's not 100% accurate. There's a few things that are a little different. The model that I have represents pre-rebuild, but I painted it. I removed the roof walk and painted it and did it like it was the post-rebuild. Blanked out a couple of windows, removed the roof walk, and painted it with the red and the buzzsaw and everything on it. But the biggest thing is I noticed when I was doing the research for this is that the windows on the cupola are different.
Mm-hmm.
And that was post-rebuild. There are bigger windows, and then the bars on the front windows on the cupola and the back windows are gone.
Right.
I wasn't that worried about it, so I left it the way it was.
They just cut those out and put sliding sash windows in the cupola is what they did.
Yep.
But actually, it's very accurate for what I've seen is like you're talking about. This is like a mid '60s repaint when they started, because these were originally boxcar red.
Yep.
And had the radio, and that's why they blanked some of the windows out already. But in this case, like what this one's painted, it'd be for blanking out for the radio room and stuff, instead of the FRA 1980 thing where they blanked everything out.
Right.
But yeah, this car is actually very accurate as she's painted right now for like a mid '60s vermilion paint job. And these are ones, as you know from being from Texas.
Yep.
When these things got down there, depending on whether they use Sherwin-Williams or DuPont, they would get like an orange color. The vermilion, but really, once they got in that hot Texas sun, they would fade to like an orange.
Yep.
So it actually looks very accurate, for a current rebuild of that era, like the mid '60s. And it lasted like that all the way up to, in the late '70s when they started rebuilding them completely.
Right.
And then they retired them in '86.
Yeah. So I'm modeling '78. So this is a good representation of it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the history of these cars, you said they were built from boxcars, is that correct?
Yes, yeah, they were built from the fish belly under frame underneath them. I want to say it's a 29-foot caboose, and I can't remember exactly what the wheelbase is on them, but the frame underneath it is from a boxcar.
Okay.
An old wood sheath boxcar, and that's what they build them off of.
Nice. And that's one of the things that I noticed when you and I were talking about it. These have regular sprung trucks, so they're regular freight car, boxcar trucks.
Right.
Bettendorf or whatever.
ASF rack controls.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so what I did on this particular model, because I did add SoundCar, and I'll get into that in a moment, I took the brass trucks off. Mm-hmm. And I bought the trucks, some 70-ton regular friction-bearing trucks off of Tangent Dave.
Yep.
And added my own wipers to it.
Yep.
And put those up in there. So I've got a SoundCar in it. So that's one of the different things unique about this car too, is the fact that it did have those type of boxcars instead of the leaf springs, which is what a lot of the more modern Cabooses went to.
And they were very comfortable riding cars. I mean, they were in West Frankfort, my hometown, having hoboed on them a few times after getting out of high school after the day and ride down the mines in them. They had a couple of these, and man, those things were comfortable. They're huge inside. Yeah. They were monstrous inside.
Yeah, I was just saying, compared to some of like those shorty bay windows and stuff like that, this looks huge by comparison.
This is like the shorty bay window is like a studio apartment. This is a 3-bedroom. I mean, these things are fantastically huge, you know.
So, but anyway, I got this and from a friend of mine, and so I painted it up, put the decals on it, and then as I mentioned, added SoundCar, removed the roof walk on it.
Yeah, the lights look great too.
And these are lighted.
Yeah,
I put SoundCar in it, so of course it's got the decoder address. And so what I did on mine was I took it as the last 4 digits, so 2265,
right?
And you can hear the peanut whistle.
And that's actually a mop peanut whistle too.
It is.
You guys recorded it.
Peanut whistle that we recorded, so absolutely. But I also put lights on the end, and so on the one end, you can see this side over here. It's got the rear backup light or a headlight for a shoving platform.
Right.
And then I can turn on a red flashing on the top on here, and I know you can see it on camera B for those of you guys watching. The Missouri Pacific, a lot of times they would equip them with 2 lights. You had the white light to act as a headlight for a shoving move,
right? And
then you had the red light, which was the flashing rear end train device,
right?
And so I did that on this particular car, and I did that for both sides, and they're full independent control. So when I turn off the flashing on I guess this would be the rear of the Caboose, you can kind of, I'm moving the camera around so you can see the other side.
Yep.
The headlight on the other side, the short side, is the 1 key, since these don't have bells.
Right.
So the headlight turns on, and then the flashing light is number 6, function 6. So we can turn all those lights on so you can actually see it.
And but then the light, that's the way they looked.
Yeah. So
all you need now is Kevin in there. Hey, hoghead, back her up 12 and don't be spilling my coffee now.
Exactly. You know, something along those lines. I did also install a current keeper, so that way I've got good stay alive with it, and so forth. But as you know, I use mostly Blue Nami when I'm running. I shouldn't say mostly. I pretty much use all Blue Nami.
Right.
So I can still use the DCC system to control the SoundCar, because we don't have a Blue Nami SoundCar, so I can grab my DCC system, or I can assign, like, say for example, if we have a bunch of people over operating and we want to do a shoving move, I can have somebody grab the throttle and become the conductor sitting on the platform.
That's right, standing out there, okay, back her up, let's go.
And the cool thing is that because it's it's Tsunami SoundCar and it is based on track, I can sit there and turn on the lights and everything, and then just run the train. And then when I get to the end of the run and go in the other direction, I can just turn them off, turn them back on.
Yeah, I mean, and yours is like you said, we've said many times, using the NCE power cab, having it also as your power source. The Blue Nami runs independent of that with the app, and like you said, you still have this option here, which is kind of nice too.
Yeah,
because you still have all that wonderful stuff you got with the SoundCar.
Yeah, absolutely.
Until the Blue Nami SoundCar comes, you never know.
You never know.
You just never know. There are all kinds of surprises.
But I was pretty happy with the way this turned out. A light weathering. I mean, I'm real happy with it. And this is my first brass actual anything running.
It looks great
on the layout.
Yeah, I was the same way. The only thing I could ever afford was Cabooses.
Yeah,
and these are really nice. Overland did a great job on them. The rivets and stuff. This is the welded side. They have a riveted side too, and they got them. Like, it's the only thing that's different on them. I think one side was supposed to have 3 windows instead of 4. I think that's what it was. But other than that, it's a beautiful car and it's well done, and it really captures the look of that car, especially with that rebuilt, fish belly underframe underneath it.
Yeah,
and then I think they built these at DeSoto, Missouri, and Sedalia.
Okay,
so.
Yeah, I'm real happy with it, and took my time. And one of the challenges is always painting the window frames.
It looks great. And, they look fantastic. They represent the aluminum sliding sash that they put in there.
Tiny brush, patience, and a magnifier.
Yep. It looks great, George. It's fantastic.
Yeah, thanks.
It's actually my favorite Caboose. I mean, I like all mop Cabooses. Don't get me wrong, but this one I like because number one, it was on coal trains in my area, in my hometown, and I saw them a lot. And like I said earlier, they were huge. These things were great to hobo in back when you could do that. You know, sit back there and ride in the Caboose.
Yep.
They'd say, "Don't touch anything, boy." You know, I'm like, "No problem." And you'd ride down to the mine with them, and that thing just rocked like a big rocking chair going down those tracks, and it was so comfortable.
Nice.
And like we've talked before on your earlier podcast, the Mopac guys power brake their trains, so there's nice smooth stops. So guys like Conductor Kevin never spilled his coffee or nothing.
Yep.
You know,
exactly.
And he liked that. You know?
Yeah, he did. I can imagine.
Yeah, you're messing up, boy. You spilled my coffee. You know.
I think my favorite Mopac Caboose. While I love this one, I think this is a really good one. I have an affinity for the offset wide vision.
Yes,
I like that one. It's very much Mopac because they were the only ones that really ordered it in mass anyway.
Right.
With the offset wide vision, and you can't overlook the Shorty Bay windows.
No,
those were quintessential.
Well, that's another home. This is a home built car, and the Shorty Bay window was a home built car.
Yep.
And like you said, the extended vision, the International, it's unique to Mopac, and I call that cupola style. Although this is just me, Tom nomenclature, is I call that T&P style cupola because the T&P had the offset cupolas on their 29-foot steel cars.
Okay.
The little steel ones.
Yeah.
And they ran them like that. If you look at any of the T&P down there in the, even in the Mopac days, the guys ran them with like this side to the train, and this was the conductors here looking this way towards the front of the train. They'd run them like that too.
Yeah.
So the T&P did that, and I don't know, you T&P guys out there, you can tell George or me in the comments of why they did that. But a lot of T&P in freight trains I saw, and especially on photos and stuff, is they had the cupola back here.
Yeah.
So those EVs were set up perfect, so the T&P guys felt right at home.
Yeah.
So I was thinking riding them like that with the long part of the car facing the front of the train.
Yep.
You know.
And we're about to have a really good wealth of cabooses because we've had those Blueford Shops Shorty Bay windows. Bachman just released another run of those. We've got, I have a couple of these that I built kit, but remember Athens releasing those KO and G.
Right, we're getting ready to
KO and G. We're
Caboose
helping
Rich,
those.
Mopac.
That's right.
I mean, it's for a Mopac guy right now. It's like hitting the lottery.
It's a good time.
Scale trains, his SD40-2s are coming out. So I mean, but as far as cabooses, all we need, Dave and Athern, is that extended vision would be mighty nice.
Exactly. So. Well, with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up, and on the caboose anyway. And Tom, I know you get a lot of calls and a lot of questions through the day. Of course, you're our tech support guy.
Right.
What's one of the things you want to talk about with our viewers and listeners today?
I have one thing. It's the last couple of weeks we've gotten a lot of it, folks. That when you're doing your factory resets, I'm talking about the full reset, the CV8 to 8. Make sure you wait, tip the car off or the engine off the track, and let the power, be interrupted, put it back on the track, and wait in 5 to 10 seconds, before you do that. Then make sure the lights flash 16 times. If they don't flash 16 times, then the reset has not occurred properly.
Yeah.
So, and that's why you're still frustrated with it. I reset it, didn't do that. I always ask them on the phone, like, well, did the lights flash 16 times? No, I said, okay, the reset didn't take properly.
Right.
You need to redo the reset. And when they get it to do that, when they wait, tip it off, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, put it back on the track, power's reapplied, then there'll be a delay. The decoder we're talking about a sound decoder, will start back up after a short delay. You hear the startup sequence and then the lights will flash 16 times.
Yep.
Now that lets you know the reset's occurred.
Yep. There's a couple of things to note about it. One of the things is when you're taking power away. The point of it is we want to reboot that processor.
Right.
So if you have things like a current keeper or any stay alive module, you want to also make sure to wait until that's fully drained. So in some cases, you may need to take it off the track and go make a beverage or something and then come back and put it back on the track. And then when you're re-railing it, you want to make sure that you're very careful and put one rail at a time.
Right.
And then once it's on, gently set it back down to the other side. And the reason is because if you're futzing with it or fiddling with it and the wheels make contact enough to make the processor power up, but then you disconnect and move around, that flash may never happen.
Right.
So you want to make sure you're very clean about it. So worst case, if you're really worried about it, you can always tip the locomotive over. In this case, of course, I'm using the Caboose. And you can just, like, say, for example, put a piece of paper under the wheels so that it breaks contact with one rail.
Right.
Then leave, go do whatever you need to do, come back, pull that paper out and set it back down, and then your reset will have taken place.
Yeah.
So those are some of the options. The other thing that, kind of building on that,
Right.
we've talked about in some of our videos that you can find on our YouTube channel, is the fact that you can do partial reset.
Right.
Where you don't reset the entire decoder, you can just do parts of it. So, like, say, for example, if you want to reset the function mapping, which is CVs 1.257 to 1.440,
Right.
you can go in and reprogram or reset those back to the factory defaults.
Right.
And so CV8 to a value of 9, 10, 11, 12, or 13 will do the partial resets. And again, you'll refer to the user's guide to find out what bank of CVs you're resetting.
Right.
But the other thing I wanted to point out is when you're doing those CV resets, you can also use that as a diagnostic tool. For example, I was talking to a fellow modeler recently where they weren't having luck turning on the lights. And I said, well, let's find out and let's make sure the decoder has control of the lights. And so we did a CV8 to 13. Now, CV8 to 13 only resets the 3-dot CVs, which most people probably haven't touched, because in the Tsunami 2 and Blue Nami, it has all to do with the wheel clickety-clack and the spacing and the number of axles and so forth. So it's probably something you've never done.
Right.
So if you do a CV8 to 13, you're going to get that flashing lights once you cycle the power like we talked about. But then if the lights work, then you know the decoder has control. But if for whatever reason a light that you've wired doesn't work and the others are flashing, and let's say, for argument's sake, let's say this red light up here wasn't flashing, well, now I know I got to fix something physically.
Right.
Whether it could be a broken wire, it could be a disconnection, it could be the LEDs wired backwards,
Right.
it could be any number of things, and it very well could be the decoder's lighting output is damaged.
Right.
Just depends on what you find, but you can use that as a diagnostic tool as well, so that way when you're done your installation, you can do your CV8 to 13 and make sure the lights work.
And you're only affecting some seldom used CVs, like you said earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not messing with your dynamic digital exhaust, your lights, your function
Yep.
mapping, none of that. You're leaving all that alone. You're just going to
Yep.
13. You're just messing with. But it still will. The lights will still flash.
Yep.
So you
Now-
still get the effect of what George is talking about.
Right. Now this is Tsunami 2 and Blue Nami. The SoundCar, which is what we're talking, which we have here in front of us, that's a CV8 to 8 reset.
Right.
It's just all that.
Right.
If you go to earlier products, we have CV8 to 8, but also CV30 to 2, because your little history is that years ago when we started introducing sound decoders, we had so many CVs, we introduced the CV reset, but our company, SoundTraxx, we designed it as CV30 to a value of 2. NMRA looked up and said, hey, that's a great idea. We should be able to do a reset.
Right.
So what they did was they adopted something that they thought would be easier to remember, which is probably easy 8 to 8.
Right.
And so that went CV8 to 8. And when you try to read back CV8, it's not going to read 8. It's always going to read 141. But what it does is it puts a marker in the boot up program that when you do boot up, it actually will go in and quickly do a reset, and then it does the flashing of the lights. And so use that if you get stuck where you got a decoder, it's doing something you don't really know what it is, but you can't figure it out. Do a CV8 reset, start over, get a blank, and ideally if you do have a lot of these, you'll have your common values that you use, like momentum, braking, volume level, stuff like that, pretty much either known or written down somewhere.
Right.
And then once you do the reset and the problem goes away, work your way through one CV at a time. And then if that problem manifests itself again, now you know, hey, I did 3 CVs, let's go back and revisit those values again.
Yeah.
So it's a really neat tool, and you certainly can do it. And if you guys want to see this in action, we're not going to do a CV reset on this because I spent a lot of time with it.
No, it looks great.
But if you do a CV8 to 8 reset and you want to see this, you can go to our YouTube channel, search SoundTraxx CV reset, and there's at least 2 videos, I think of maybe 3 videos that we've talked about the different aspects of it, and we actually show you the page in the user's guide where it talks about CV8 to 9, 10, 11, 12, and so on, and what it changes. So hopefully this has been helpful for you. And use it as a tool. Like I said, it doesn't hurt to have it, and then especially if you're doing Blue Nami, you can just copy all your CVs into the app, and then you can do a reset, and then you can flash them back in.
Right.
So it gives you an opportunity to make sure, because another time, CB8 reset will give us a fresh slate, and we know how the decoder works from the factory. And sometimes we'll say, well, just check to make sure XYZ works, and it does. Then you go flash them back in, and the problem resurfaces. Well, now we know there's something in those CVs, and then we need to dive into those values. And once you find it, you can always resave it in the Blue Nami app.
Yeah, it makes it more convenient like that. That's one of the great features of that app.
Yep. So
at the same time, the good old SoundCar works great too, and the reset, the CB8 works good on this. And
yep.
Just like your Tsunami 2s, like George said, CB8 to 13 will let you check and see if your lights are working, and you're still not messing with any of your other CVs, so you don't have to freak out and redo all those, because it makes it a lot easier.
Exactly. So with that, I think this is pretty much to the end of what we've got prepared. Just wanted to remind everybody, we're going to be in West Springfield, Massachusetts this weekend, January 23rd and 24th.
Right.
That's, or 24th, 24, 25, I think.
Yeah, 24, 25, Saturday,
I'm
Sunday.
getting my days mixed up. So 24, 25, we're going to be at the Springfield Amherst Train Show, the big one, the big Railroad Hobby Show.
Yep.
This is potentially one of the biggest train shows of the year. It's one of my favorites to do. This will be my 17th trip, and in 17 years, I've yet to see the whole show.
I believe it. I've heard so much about it. I'm looking forward to it. It's the first time ever at the show.
Yep.
Looking forward to meeting some people out there. A lot of folks have been calling in, asking if we're going to be there. Yeah, we are, and they're looking forward to shaking hands with you guys and meeting you and putting the name with the face.
Yep. So we're going to be in the Better Living Center. We're going to be in booth 19, so be sure to come out and see us. And
we're doing rebates.
We're going to be doing a special promo, so you'll have to come by and see us to find out what that is.
Right. We're doing something.
We're doing something really cool, so you'll want to come out and see us then.
Yep.
So with that, I guess we'll close this out. I'll do a short one this week, and we'll hopefully see you guys out there. Hopefully this has been helpful for you. So leave us any comments in the section below if you have any thoughts, topics that you'd like to see us cover, troubleshooting the technique, or a common question that you may see. We can cover it in one of these podcasts, or we can shoot a YouTube video. So
sure,
be sure to engage with us and leave us some comments below. So with that, we'll wrap it up. This has been the SoundTraxx Soundbites podcast. Train talk from Milepost 141. We appreciate y'all listening in and watching from wherever you are, and we'll look forward to seeing you guys in the next edition. So we'll see you later.
Bye now.